I'm Rodrigo Quian Quiroga. I'm the director of the Center for System Neuroscience at the University of Leicester in England. So I was very excited when asked to organize this winter school.
So my name's Simon Thorpe. I'm the director of the Brain and Cognition Research Centre in Toulouse. I know Rodrigo for quite some time now, and it was a thrill for me when Rodrigo asked if I'd be interested in helping to organise this winter school. We're both people who are committed to the idea that recalling single neurons is one of the key ways of getting to know how the brain works. And we're both very much interested in memory in a very broad sense. I'm actually a sort of more known, I think, as somebody working on visual perception, but one of the key things that we've developed here is actually the idea that perception and memory are intimately related, and all perception is in a sense memory.
And also my background is very interdisciplinary. I mean, I study physics, math, and then I turn into neuroscience, and I know that can bring some advantages on the long run. And when we planned this school, I mean, we were trying to get a really broad interdisciplinary background, so faculties are from different fields, also the students. And one idea we had with Simon is that we really wanted to break boundaries, the stratified boundaries that sometimes we see in neuroscience, like people working on perception will not talk to people working in memory. Cognitive neurosciences will not have much chance to talk to computational neuroscientists. So we had a nice mix of faculties and students coming from all these different areas. And yeah, the idea is to have very broad discussions around the topic of the school, which is memory in humans.
And what was very obvious is actually it's a very open area. The memory, there are literally dozens and dozens of questions, which are actually questions that anybody can ask. Can you forget? What makes you forget things? Can we deliberately forget things? What's the role of sleep in memory? How many different types of memory systems are there? How do we describe different types of memory? And are there underlying mechanisms which are different? These are all very, very open questions. And in fact, quite clearly, there isn't consensus on everything. You take even the teaching staff, there are clear differences. And I think this sort of thing becomes very obvious in this sort of winter school. And it's one of the reasons why the topic of memory is such a great one for a winter school, because it's not something where there is a consensus opinion where everybody thinks the same thing. It's a really hot topic because there is so much discussion between scientists themselves.
And something that I think we kept in mind, or at least what I thought when thinking about the faculty that we can invite and thinking about the structure of the lectures and the structure of the school, was that this is a school and it was pretty much focused to the students. It's not a conference or a meeting where we used to go and meet and discuss our specific topics. So one way I saw it is basically thinking, well, if I would be a PhD student, I mean, what would I like to have in a week's time? I mean, which type of lectures I would like to have and which type of people I would like to have, I mean, teaching these lectures. And that's more or less, I mean, how this whole thing evolved, and that's how we planned the school. The idea is that the students have preference. So they have preference in the discussions, they have preference when we have question times and so on. So we try to play more like a secondary role. I mean, this is their meeting, so this is basically they who decide, I mean, the topics they're interested in and who put the questions and who more or less drive the school.
For me, when Rodrigo and I went through all the candidates for coming here, one of the nice things is that we actually agreed incredibly well. I mean, independently choosing a set of students, but we both ended up with a very, very rich set of students with lots of different backgrounds, lots of different countries. I mean, it's just amazing how international this whole thing is. And the other thing is, because of the broad nature of the topic, none of the students could possibly be experts everywhere, so they're all out of their comfort zone at some of the time. And that, I think, is important, that all the students feel that they can ask questions, because it's actually often the naive questions that are the most interesting ones. It's the people who are faced with fresh stuff that often ask the really interesting questions. And that sort of sense of camaraderie, if you like, between the students is something that we really want to get going.
So if I may add something, when we reviewed applications, as Simon said, it was striking the overlap we have in our selection of candidates. And for me, a key factor, that might be a hint for whoever candidate for the next school may be seeing this video, but for me a decisive aspect was like, how did the students, show their interest in the school, why they want to come here, why they're interested in this particular field. And I really weighted this much higher than their achievements already. Their CV and their publications, and somebody maybe at a younger stage in their career without many papers or without many clear ideas that can really express why he or she is so interested to be here. Well, this person, actually end up being here. And as a consequence, if you get these people that they really show a strong interest in the school, well, the engagement is for granted, no? Because they really want to be here and they are the ones driving this forward.
Perhaps I can add another point. One of the first things that I said at the very beginning was that my own experience from a long time ago of just how great this sort of meeting is, because I went to a ZUOS, it was a precursor of the FENS Winter Schools back in, 1984. I still have contacts with the students who were there then. And it's an incredibly useful thing, I think, for federating, well, not just European neuroscience, but neuroscience in general. Because when people make good contacts with international people from other places, actually those links help foster collaborations, for the next 30, 40 years potentially, because these people now are friends, and that helps.
So when I got the offer to organize the school, it was kind of like the perfect combo. I could see that I could potentially do something as some of the things I lived when I was a student, no? So it's an amazing place. The support of FENS, something organized by FENS is very, very prestigious. So you got FENS on board, you get the Hertie Foundation on board, you get an amazing location, and a very interesting topic.
The sort of format where you get a bunch of people, the students and the faculty, together in a nice place, because I'd heard good rumours about where the FENS Hertie Winter Schools happen. It's an excellent place to organise a conference. It's the organiser's dream, I have to be honest. So I already knew that this was a good thing to do. So I didn't hesitate even 1 second when Rodrigo asked whether I'd be interested. I think I could probably say my reaction time to your email was 10 seconds. Maybe it was that obvious. And I do think, as I was saying earlier, this is so important for bringing people from different countries together and establishing those relationships which are going to build neuroscience research for the decades.
So basically, as Simon said, I had the same experience. Some of the best friends I have in science, they come from events like these ones. When we were PhD students, we went to some school and we met and we got to be friends, and then we keep contact with time, and now we are very good friends. We collaborate, or we see each other, we keep in contact in different countries, in different fields. So it's a very important, I think, component of a career.
So for me, I think if this has worked, the students will go away with the very clear sense that this is an incredibly dynamic area where the questions. There's so many questions that we don't have consensus answers to. Well, people, the simple things like, is all information stored in synapses? Well, there was one of the students had a poster on specifically challenging the idea that you can see just from the faculty they don't agree on everything because actually. That's what makes science interesting. If everybody agrees, might as well go home. No, we don't agree. There are big questions that need answering and which hopefully will motivate, at least a few years of research, maybe, decades of research for these students.
So I think, I agree with Simon. It's important. One thing that it would be very nice if the student can get is like different questions that are driving scientists in the field. And also to get the feeling that, I hope we have a lot of debate And we plan to have some roundtable discussions, very long, I mean, going up to late in the evening, because we want to have these debates with the students and among scientists, so that they can see that it's not all a textbook that is already been written, it's all open, and we don't know answers, and we are still discussing with each other. So I think it's very good for a student at a young stage in their career to see that. The other point that will be very interesting, and I hope the students will get out of this, is that, as I say, we try to make it very broad and interdisciplinary. We didn't focus on one specific technical niche of research. So I think they will all be seeing things that are outside what they are doing right now. And I can imagine somebody doing a PhD, maybe following what his or her supervisor will say, and they may be doing this research for years to come, whereas this school can bring some new perspectives, some new, I don't know, they can get to see at least a glimpse of different fields of research, and maybe that will tune a little bit their careers in the future. And I think that will be spectacular. That will be quite a success if this happens.
So for those of you sitting at home or in your labs and thinking about whether I want to watch some of these lectures and so on, I hope you're going to enjoy it. I mean, hopefully you'll get some sense of the excitement that's generated in the field of memory research because of the large number of open questions. The only thing I can say is what a shame you can't be here, because what a fantastic place this is. We've got fantastic weather all week. The centre is a terrific place to organise conferences. So for the organisers of future meetings, you're going to be really lucky. But hopefully, that sense of excitement will get through the video, and that you'll be able to enjoy some of the science.
Welcome to the FENS Hertie Winter School.